So it's like the Enigma factor.
Right.
So you play Rubik against Enigma. Enigma's thinking, okay, I'm gonna wait for this guy to use Spell Steal, then I'm gonna go in and Black Hole. But then the Rubik never uses Spell Steal. So the Enigma never uses Black Hole. And what's more valuable? If you like our content, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification button below so you will be notified when a new video will be released. We're going to be coaching Barber again. His coaching session was on YouTube. He was playing support Marana. Since then, he's gained about 300 MMR. He's almost at his goal of 5,000 MMR. About 70 off. He's having another session right now. We're going to be watching his Rubik today. He's pretty much playing position or the support role. Do you ever play core, or do you ever have to play core?
I used to play core, like, I used to play a lot of mid when I first started playing, and then I've just kinda rotated around. My most played hero is Clockwork, so I just like to fight, you know, and it just started to fit me more, like the 4 or 5.
Right, right. Nice. Okay. It definitely Rubik and Marana, CM, these heroes are a bit different than Clockwork because they have more lane shoving and they have to, you know, position really well in the fights.
Right, I think Rubik's kind of a hard hero to play well. Like, I feel like he can be useless easily,
right,
you know, and so
exactly.
that's why I picked this, is that
Well,
I know we win this game, but I feel like I could always do more.
okay. Were you first pick in this game or you picked later?
Yeah, I always first pick.
Okay, cool. So your initial items are like double fairy fires, tangles, healing salve, and you bought a healing salve. I think normally you don't really need this healing salve. You can buy like branches instead, so you have a little bit more stats, and then you can just bring out the healing salve later.
Yeah, I know. I typically don't buy salve. It's weird that I bought one. I'm not sure why now.
Right, but that's okay. Just for like future thoughts, like you don't no one ever like use all of their region level 1, right? So you always have like that 30 seconds to bring it out. But early, what you do is harass your opponent a lot. So having those stats would be a lot more efficient for you. There are other Rubik players who go for like boots of speed and stuff, but I like that you go for this build where like you just kind of want to battle up against your opponent.
Right. I like the fairy fires because like I feel like I have to hit people now because I bought them, right?
Exactly. When we first started, you weren't buying the fairy fires, right? And now like you really like it. It looks like. So this lane matchup is really hard. By the way, you're playing with an NS who does absolutely nothing in your lane, and you're against Witch Doctor and Troll. What's normally going through your mind when you see this kind of lane matchups?
I mean, yeah, it looks tough because like obviously Night Stalker sucks pretty early. Like he has no lane presence. I think I really just want to harass the troll as much, and like I don't think the Witch Doctor can. Like I think I win this 1v1.
Yeah.
Because I've got the Fade Bolt, and like if I have to use it, and then I think so I want to like be able to hit him and the troll. Like that's my only goal.
Right, right. In this kind of lane, because you're really weak and your NS can't even nuke the like range creep properly, like you always want to reserve your Fade Bolt for that, right? And that's how you're like, able to harass your opponent and get the last hit. And you did that in the first wave, which I think is absolutely amazing. After that, after the first range creep, there's a little bit of time before the next range creep comes. So during this time, I would highly recommend that you consider blocking the level 1 camp. Right?
Right.
With your body. Because as soon as you finish this range creep, I'm going to rewind a little bit to that. So you do this play, right? Now you have like this 15 seconds before the next range creep comes where you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah, and this NS is not going to be held hostage by a range creep and thinking about like going in there to get that. And what you also do by blocking the small camp, you know what? Do you know like why we need to block the small camp like first wave here?
We want to win the pull battle. Like we want to be able to pull ours and not theirs. Like
right.
I just have to beat the 5 in this. Like this is our matchup, you know.
Exactly. And on top of that, you also get to stop your opponent from having a double stack on 2 minutes as well by just blocking the first wave. So that means that anytime they are able to like deny a full creep wave would be like at 3 minutes even. When you go to block this camp, you're also giving like some solo XP to your NS while still doing something.
Makes sense.
Really okay, let's keep going here. And now here you make the pull, perfect, really good. The only way that they can actually counter this is if the Witch Doctor goes there and pulls this camp.
Is it better to pull the whole wave? Like I'll watch like some pros, like sometimes they'll pull two creeps, or maybe like is it better to pull the whole wave, or like what do you?
I think it like for the big camp it doesn't really matter that much. Most of the time the creeps will kill it and your opponent will farm it. That's okay. The most important thing is get the lane back up here. This camp, when you're small camp pulling, it's good to pull like 2 creeps sometimes.
Right. Okay.
But obviously it's like gonna be difficult. You're gonna have to practice that like to be able to do it. But it's also okay if you pull the big, like the full wave. It's not like super relevant. But if you pull like 2 creeps, then at least you can make sure those 2 creeps die to the small camp. So in this wave, like what you did was here was great, because now all the NS has to do is like make sure the creep wave just gets stuck here. As an offlaner, we talked about this before. Our goal is to like, or supporting our offlaner is to get the wave back up here as much as we can.
Right.
So we can try to either harass our opponent or chase them down, or just like be at the safety of our tower. And don't worry about this guy like farming these creeps. If you can try to like leech the XP off this big camp, it's really nice too.
Right.
So that way you're giving
I
all
try
the
to
XP
play over there typically.
Right. Let's go back here just a little bit, see what we could have done here. In this position, like you obviously want to be playing like down the river, so, or like even go down the river, go back up the hill here, and then just zap this creep for the last hit, right?
Okay, yeah, no, then that's actually a good idea. Then Night Stalker gets his, I get mine.
Exactly. He will get all this solo XP, so you're like feeding him for the 5 minutes, and then with this creep wave is giving you vision, right? So you can see the witch doctors over here, you can see the trolls over here. So if you just went down the river around like this, zap this big creep, this troll is gonna feel so bad.
Yeah, I could block the 2 minute again.
Yeah, exactly. So that would have been so slick if you did that. 1 minute block, zap this, 2 minute block. This witch doctor has no game, and he's just gonna be leeching the XP of the troll the entirety of the laning stage.
Yeah, it feels so bad as the 5, just like not doing anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, no, that's good.
It's really good like writing that stuff down, and so you know like game to game, because it's so easy to forget, you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So here you got like a double wave going to your opponent. You're gonna try to pull the lane back again. Really nice. It's so hard to pressure them with like an NS as well. So you're just playing for your timing, which is 5 minutes, and trying to deny as much XP and stuff as you can. Like the fact that your NS is even here, that's a big win in my sight. That's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like the lane's going pretty well. We're tied for CS.
Yeah. But you can see like what you can improve on to really dominate your lane just by like abusing these kind of mechanics. So 4 minutes, you go bottom side. I would have definitely walked towards the river, obviously, to get the rune.
I was, yeah. The witch doctor was
chasing.
Yeah, and so once I saw it wasn't, I think I.
That's okay. That's good that you go for that. We talked about that, and you're doing a really good job with it. I like it. So here comes.
Yeah, I went over my notes today, and I think I'm doing everything we went.
Nice.
Over.
So 5 minutes. Let's see what you do here. You go to the rune. You're chilling at the rune, waiting for that witch doctor comes in, unfortunately. Then he has a little bit of HP here, and he goes all the way back to base. And
yeah, I hate him for doing this. I was like, you should at least get those creeps.
It's okay, because you get all the XP anyway, and now he wants to be strong for the 5 minute fight instantly, right? So it's not the worst thing, and you got a lot of XP from that. I think you're gonna be happy about it. And now you guys are just gonna like start pressuring this guy up, which is really good. Got a catapult. You definitely stick by this catapult, and pressure with the NS. Got a ward behind the tower as well. Getting ready for that. So here, like ideally, this guy is already level 5. If you did those stuff with like blocking this and giving him the creeps that are going under the tower, he'd probably be level 5. And I think this troll would already be like out of this lane already. Definitely.
Right. Yeah, he'd be more scary with the level 3 nuke.
Exactly. And this NS needs to be bringing himself a healing salve. He's just quite slow at doing that. So here you still stay bottom because you got a catapult here, which I think is completely fine. This troll's getting pressured very, very hard. At least this bottom lane. So you go bottom for the rune, 8 minutes. You go mid because there's nobody else there. Get some a little bit of XP, which is fine. So here, like in these kind of games, you could always get like a raindrop or just bring out clarities to yourself, so you don't have to like go back to base like this.
Right.
Whenever you go back to base like this, you're not getting XP, you're not really applying any pressure, you're kind of just like, you know, walking home and wasting a lot of time. Imagine like one clarity would have gave you, you know, so much mana. You would have all your spells, and on top of that, you got to see like you're trading like this 50 gold for like experience, right? So you'll see like professional players, they will be spamming like 2 clarities like in their inventory and constantly having that available to them, so that they can always stay on the map. The less you have to go back to base in the early game, the better it is.
I have a bad habit of buying like 1 at a time.
Yeah. Like you buy 1 if you have no gold, but if you have gold, like you can just buy 2, and it always pays for itself, right? So it's 10 minutes. I assume.
I can't believe we live here.
Yeah. Happens. And you're gonna get the tome, I assume. Did you not get the tome?
I do. I'm just late.
Ah, okay.
I get excited about my mana boost.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to get that tome.
Like ASAP.
6, exactly.
Dire's middle tower is on Dire's middle tower.
So I think like one of the reasons why you stayed bottom for so long in this game is because you feel like you can pressure them, but then your NS wasn't really like high enough level, right? And he didn't have the resources available. So what you want to do is exactly what we talked about, like blocking this, pulling this, and that would have naturally give him stronger levels, and you would have dominated his bottom lane at 5 minutes. And
yeah, I should have stayed over on their side, like at least, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that, you dominate bottom. Now that would free you up to do other moves in the game.
Right.
So that's where like the game got a bit awkward, and you know you feel like you're playing a lot around middle and bottom area. Sorry, bottom area of the map and just around the rune only. But that's okay, because you're like Rubik is sometimes a very slow hero in that sense, and the enemy mid laner is like a magnet. You can't even go and contest this guy. He's just way too slow.
With the clinks, it felt tough to like. Maybe if we got a rune or something, or
exactly.
maybe I could have got the Diamond Stalker.
So now you got Empower, you're still playing around bottom. So I would highly recommend, like, this is another reason why you're going to want to have way more clarities and even like a raindrop. So because raindrops, 1, it saves you HP, it makes you tankier. 2, it gives you mana regen. 3, you want these clarities so that you can, once you steal spells like Shockwave, you can just constantly shove lanes out and get a lot of farm from it as well. Right. Like you got to see 1 clarity is like equivalent of an entire creep wave.
Got it.
So you're getting you're gonna get like all that gold back and more, and you're gonna push it out much quicker. And when you push out lanes, then your opponent has to react to it, and if your opponent has to react to the lanes, then they can't make plays on the map and kill your team. So you're essentially creating space for your allies by shoving lanes out.
Right.
Continuing on. So you have mana boots, it's good enough, it's good, but it's not enough, right? You can clearly see you're using way more
I'm
mana.
already like yeah.
So this is where it's really good, where you get your clarities.
My one clarity.
So here you TP top because Luna is like getting dove or something, like getting attacked.
Oh, she gets RP.
What a build! Shadowblade, Mask of Madness Luna. Dude, this is fancy. Nice. Blood Right. You actually just solo killed this guy.
Yeah. The Blood Right's the spell I want this whole game. It just seems so broken with Rubik and Lift.
It's really, really good. I mean, whatever spell allows you to shove lanes out is like your best friend, you know?
Right.
Blood Right, Shockwave, these are like the best skills that you can possibly have, especially in the early game. Because when you get those, you can pair up with your NS or Disruptor, you can kill heroes, or you can just like instantly double nuke waves and just get all that farm. And it's still creating space for you. But you want to take like the hard lanes, right? Like middle or the safe lane, whatever it may be, where your allies don't want to go. Because even if you get to push mid out, that means your Clinks is going to be able to like jungle or roam on the map freely, instead of having to show mid and show where he is on the map. So the thing about Rubik is he's a hero who can't really make plays alone, right? He's a hero who supports his allies, you know, stuns for them, leads smokes, or he's going to push out lanes, right? So if you're not playing with your allies behind them and you're not like getting ready to fight with your allies, then your natural instinct should always be like, okay, let me go push lanes out, right? So if your teammates need
Right.
space, then the best thing for you to do as a Rubik to make space is just keep pushing lanes out, right?
Right.
A lot like your Mirana, and I think you were the one when you're playing Mirana, you maxed out your arrow, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about like how that's just not good, because if you just
Real
keep
bad.
pushing lanes out, you're gonna give space to your team. So this is another example where like you get this really good vision bottom, and your teammates TP top. Now you have to make a decision. Are you gonna go to your teammates? Are you gonna fight with them? If the answer is no to that, then your natural instinct should always be to go get lanes out.
Right. Okay.
Right? So your opponent always has to think what their move on the map is. Are they gonna defend these lanes that are coming in, or are they going to like ignore those lanes, ignore all that farm, all that XP, and all that vision, and just continue on with their fight? So you always want to like keep your opponent for thinking. Just keep thinking about that, and you will always like naturally play better. Actually, try to prioritize pushing the mid wave in, because people are always like thinking about defending this mid tower every time creep wave comes in, and because when they defend the mid tower, they're always showing themselves on the map, so your team will feel less scared as well.
Right. That makes sense.
Right? So as a Rubik, like the way I think about it, and I think a lot of the other top Rubik players think, is like they want to steal this wave clear spells and they want to hold it as long as they can. So they always want to steal the shockwave, they always want to steal his blood, right? And they always want to use the spells to push the lanes so they can get to their items. Because this hero is like pretty bad actually without items. That's why you don't see position 5 Rubik
For
that
sure.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here there's like a mid fight, and you definitely want to be in this area with your allies to like at least like snag a good spell and like go back to pushing lanes out. So you get a cast here, and your the Magnus like does some stupid stuff, just dies.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under
So
attack.
here you're playing around middle, it's really good. And you kind of just want to like stay in this area and wait for the creep waves. Like every 30 seconds they come in, you shove this lane and force your opponent to react to the creep wave that's going into them. Right? That's like your go-to idea when you play a hero like Rubik. And then after that you think like, okay, where am I going to go next? Because nobody else on your team is going to push this lane out. And they're not going to push us faster than you are.
Right. I can just easily cast it
And bolt it,
W.
exactly, and it's instantly
Yeah.
dead. So like these moves were like you're middle and you're like ready for a wave, and then you run bottom like this, and you don't really have any like proper, you know, reason to go bottom. It's like these are like wasted movements,
Right.
right? Whereas like if you are middle and you're like planning to make a play, then it's perfect. You push mid in first, you make somebody show mid, and then like after you push mid, you could already make a smoke with your allies and make a play on the map.
Right.
That's like the most perfect moves, because somebody's gonna react to this, and then you can like understand, okay, where are we gonna attack? Where are we gonna go with this smoke? Who are we gonna
Right.
kill? And it's really nice actually as a Rubik player like to hold smokes, because you're the one who has telekinesis. You're the one who has that instant disable. So you're gonna be leading a lot of these engagements as well. So at least you go bottom, you push a lane out. It's really good, because now someone has to react to this wave
Right.
bottom. And there it is, Bloodseeker shows. And this is all because you were there, you know, getting that lane out.
Right.
I think we talked about this when you're playing your Mirana.
I think
last
I think
time.
I'm doing this because of that.
Yeah, it's really good. They got more clarities, nice. You go middle. NS has ultimate, so you kind of want to play with this. And you can see, like, in this game, the reason why there's so less plays and you guys are not making aggressive moves, because nobody's actually utilizing smokes in this game, right? You don't see
Right.
your opponent, and you have vision, you have wards, like, on your position 5, but he's also not, like, asking for people to smoke and go out there and plant vision either, right? So
No,
as a
you're right.
position 4, you can do that. Like, if you have Aether Lens and you feel really strong and you know this NS has ultimate, and if you just smoke and you can, like, burst one hero, which you can easily do, right? You should do it. Why not? You kill one guy, you outnumber your
sure.
opponent, you can get out on the map, you can get some vision up, and now you can even play for the towers middle. And that's what's going on in this game. You guys have, like, no towers killed, apart from this bottom one that died in, like, 17 minutes, which is great. And the reason being is nobody wants to do anything. Nobody's
Right.
calling for these smokes. No one's calling for, like, you know, when you guys are strong, which is this NS, even this Clinks. He had, like, Orchid plus Desolator for the longest time already. So as a 4, it's good like when you have this Aether Lens that you know you're not going to be getting to your next item anytime soon, right? So let's try to make a play with it.
I agree. I'm typically the one that initiates fights. In fact, sometimes I think I do it too much. You know, like I'm bored, or perhaps.
Right.
Sit back. I'm typically buying smokes, but yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think if I just bought a smoke, you can sometimes just force the play, right? Because people just get smoked and they're like, okay, why not?
Right. I mean, you put this amazing ward bottom right over here. So
did nothing with it.
Exactly, because nobody is commanding for these smokes and going down there and like baiting, like killing the person that walks into your vision.
Right.
So when you
kill camp down there and just sit down there.
Right. Like when you buy smokes and you want to use it, you don't have to always go to black parts on the map. You can like just smoke into your vision. Right? You can smoke into the wards, aggressive wards that you've already planted preemptively, and then when anyone walks into that ward, you kill them. If not, then you walk up a little bit further and you plant another aggressive ward. So now you can play around that ward. And anybody comes in, you just kill them, essentially. And as a hero like Rubik, it's going to be your job to do it. It's going to be your job to like lead some of these smokes, because you're the one who has the instant stun.
Right.
Yeah. And it's also good to smoke when you have no spells available too, because that way you can go and steal a new spell.
Right.
Right. The reason why you don't have... Yeah, so the reason you don't have a spell is because like there's no engagements happening.
Yeah, it's nighttime too. I think we're just really scared of the Magnus. I think he's got like a Shadow Blade. I think.
Yeah, he does.
I think at this point, I think he's like massive, and I'm really scared of him.
Ah, you guys missed a lot of opportunities in this game to make aggressive moves, right? Like in a lot of smaller timings. You have NS, you have Clinks, you have like these really strong fighter heroes.
So,
yeah,
is it better to? My question is like, is it better? It's better to smoke into your wards, like I would imagine. But like, if we smoked now, like say they were on their side of the map, and we had no vision up, would it still be okay to smoke?
Right now would be a really bad time to smoke. Right? Okay. Because like it's your opponent are trying to do 5v5 plays, right? It's already hitting the late game timing. So it would be really hard for you to smoke without having vision up already. Earlier in the game, those earlier smokes, that's the ones that bring you tempo. Those are the 2-man smokes, the 3-man smokes, right? This smokes at this time in the game is more like end game smokes. So you're smoking with like 4 heroes, at least. And like maybe you're camping someone, or you're smoking to someone on your team, because you're expecting a team fight to break out where that hero already is. So blind smokes at this time in the game normally are like really bad. If you don't have a purpose for it. So here a fight breaks out, you got a rupture, you rupture this guy, and you're kind of just like chilling in the back, and your teammates are all just dying. Did you end up losing this game?
No, we win.
Okay, interesting. Because they are very farmed actually on a lot of their heroes. And now you're drawing the line, guys, just go middle.
Yeah, you can save it. I'm like, they used all their spells, there's no RP, please.
Right. And then you instantly go mid, you group up your teammates, snowball in, nice. Get some really good solid kills. And then the opponent just keeps dying one by one, you know? But if you did this
now we use our spells, and I'm like excited. Like there's a Night Stalker ultimate. Like
right. And these are stuff that you can do as early as 15 minutes on your second night, right?
Right.
Like you don't have to wait to make these kind of like strong calls.
Yeah, I should have forced it more.
Not really forced it, but you just need to assess like the strength of your team. Like
right, and I didn't even buy him. You know, like I don't think I was even pushing it. I probably should have been. I was just like you said, running around.
So when you are playing a hero like Rubik who has lane shove and you're around middle and constantly pushing that lane out, like you're gonna give a lot of information to your team, and they're gonna see that, oh, this lane is pushed, there's only one guy here, and they have like 2 teams split up, then let's just go attack mid, right? Like these are the calls that you can make every time you see like your mid wave is like constantly getting pushed out, because it's gonna give so much information, and you should just keep doing that. So in this game, you guys are like doing Roshan here. You kill it, and then you pop a smoke. Your team pops a smoke.
Yep.
And NS has no ulti, but you're taking this fight. Good thing you guys have a Luna. You can create nighttime.
Yeah, it's actually
really
crazy
nice.
that we, yeah. Looking back, I feel like we should just BRP'd or something.
Yeah. So you guys had like a ward on the hill. That's why, you know, you were not afraid of whatever was happening.
Radiant's top tower
Right.
has fallen.
And that's one thing that you mentioned that I've been really, I push in my pub games is like if I see like anyone under a ward, I'm just like, go kill them.
Exactly.
One thing, like if they're under your ward, just kill them. And so now if I see it, I ping it and I'm like, let's just go. And I think that's helping.
Good. So here you're taking the fight, you're lingering on the outskirts here, which is really nice. You even stole RP because you were probably thinking about that he's gonna RP and that's what you're gonna steal. So heroes like Rubik, it's really important like in the fights. You think like how the fights are gonna develop and like when they're gonna use those spells, and then you make sure you steal it right away, right? Like before the fight even happens, you need to think like what spell you want in the fights. So in this game, obviously it's RP. So you ended up getting it, right? But the way that you get it and the way that you get it easier is like you think like, okay, I'm not gonna steal anything except for RP, and you wait for it to happen.
Right.
Right.
And I've seen people like wait until they'll watch you until you steal a spell from somebody, and then they'll cast because you know, obviously you don't want maledict or something.
Exactly.
And it's on 16-second cooldown, I think.
Exactly. So if they see you use the spell steal, then they're gonna go in and RP.
Right. And then
but
my hero's useless.
Right, and you not using your spell steal is gonna pretty much stop the Magnus from RPing as well. Okay, so it's like the Enigma factor.
Right.
So you play Rubik against Enigma. Enigma's thinking, okay, I'm gonna wait for this guy to use spell steal, then I'm gonna go in and black hole. But then the Rubik never uses spell steal, so the Enigma never uses black hole. And what's more valuable?
I mean, obviously, just the Rubik just holding spell steal, like for sure.
Exactly. The Enigma not using black hole is the most valuable. Like it's insane value for you as a Rubik. So eventually what ends up happening is their team dies or starts dying because they're not using their big key spell, and then they just force the spell, and then you just steal it, and then you turn the fight around. And that's how Rubiks make all these amazing plays, and you see all these like YouTube clips and shit like that. It's not because you know, some guy playing Enigma is like wants to throw the game and use black hole. He feels pressure to use the black hole because they're losing the fight, and then the Rubik steals it because he's just holding his spell and never using it. Yeah. So this is a perfect like just like a tip of like how you can have like better spells and engagements.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And that's why Ags is like an amazing item on this hero because you have a 2-second cooldown and your opponent can't.
Right, now I understand Ags a lot more. I used to think like it was the Ags spell steal, and now I understand it because now you're stealing everything.
Exactly. You're just stealing whatever spells like you think is good. You're taking it, you're tossing it out, and then you're waiting for the next spell that you want to steal.
Dire's top tower is
And on top of that, the same way you're using spell steal, you should also think about how you use your telekinesis, right? So if you think like, all right, this guy's gonna go in, I'm gonna lift him. So one example is like Magnus blinks in RPs, you're gonna instantly lift him so he can't use a skewer, and then you're gonna steal the RP from him.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I was only thinking like spell steal, like what I should take, but yeah, I wasn't even considering like lift.
Right, because you gotta think like Magnus after you use RP, they want to use skewer, right, to bring them to their team. So if you stop that skewer from happening, then now you're gonna make your opponent like come out and fight where the Magnus is at near your allies, and that's gonna mess them up. So here you use your RP on this troll. You see him walk in.
Yeah, I think I was hoping to get the tusk too, but he's snowballs.
Yeah, he already used snowball, but it's okay. You still got the troll and you killed him.
Yeah.
Long stuns with your arcane as well, which is really nice. And now you got yourself a snowball. And yeah, you want to keep thinking about like pushing lanes out with the Rubik, like as much as you can, because that's how you get most of your farm, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. And that way your team, like if they want to jungle or they want to push towers, it's gonna be much easier for them to make those decisions.
Right. I think we kind of struggle in, at least I do in this bracket of like these mid game, like so we kill 3 of them, right? But they're already up in 30 seconds. You can't really. You know, we already used all our spells. Maybe we can't do Roche. I guess we just need to just push our lanes out, right? Like immediately just spread out.
Right.
Okay.
Like once you win a fight, the most important thing is like get lanes up, you know. So when they're
Right.
alive, they need to react to that.
Okay.
And if you get lanes up, then you'll naturally do tower damage anyway, right?
Right.
Alright, let's just stop right here. I think that's enough for this game. We got everything we wanted from this game. I think kind of explain like what you have to do. Yule's is a good item too. I think normally what people do is they go Blink Aether and then they just go like straight Aghanims, because it'll make you a bit tankier, right? Yule's gives you a bit more like survivability and stuff like that, and like more stuns, which is also okay.
Right, but I agree with you on the Yules. Like I think that's overkill on the survivability if you already have Aether, Blink.
You're all about like being really far back and just casting really strong spells into the fights,
Right.
Which is good. Okay. I think in this game, to like summarize a lot, is as in starting from the laning stage, blocking the small camps, right? Like early level 1, you're gonna fade bot the range creep, secure that for your offlaner, go block a small camp, and then always thinking about pulling the big camp to deny XP and bring the lane back into front of your tower, right? Then obviously checking the power runes, and then for the 5 minutes when the catapults come, you want to pressure with your offlaner lane, because this game you're NS and he's going to be really strong at 5 minutes at nighttime, and do that. Mid game we were talking a lot about shoving lanes and getting clarities on your heroes, right?
Right.
Get a lot of get like 2 clarities, get 3 clarities sometimes, and try to look for that AoE spell so you can constantly shove the lanes out and get yourself farm, but also make space for your allies to be able to farm up their items. And that's okay to do. And then once you get like your key item like Aether Lens, or you get like something where you feel strong, or a strong spell that lets you team fight better, you know, you can make smoke plays with your offlaner or whoever, or mid laner, whoever is strong in your team.
Yeah.
So you can keep on building on that advantage as a Rubik, because Rubik is amazing. He can do like 700 burst damage easily with just by stealing some good spell, and he has a stun.
Right.
That's
it
what
just
makes
seems
him
so good late. Yeah.
Right? And he's especially good like in the early mid game because of that stuff. And late game, we talked about how we need to think what we need to do in the engagements by thinking what the opponent is going to do, right? We think in their draft what they're going to do and what spells we're going to steal in the fight. What's the most important spell we're going to steal in the fight, and we're going to take it. And this game was RP. You did a good job. You took RP twice, which is amazing. But that's what you want to do like pretty much every game. Sometimes it's even like a basic spell, like I don't know, Ice Path maybe, you know?
Sure.
Ice Path's like the best spell actually for Rubik to steal, because with this spell it stuns people for like 4 seconds. Yeah, it's like 4 second stun with like a 9-second cooldown or some shit. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Exactly, and I think that spell is like even better than all like 90% of the ultimates that you can steal with Rubik.
Right.
So
his 25's gnarly too, if you ever get there.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's good. I think we also made a few other points that I probably didn't mention, but
no, I think the early game, like hanging around them near their creep, near their poles, and separating myself from the offlaner.
Right, and it also gives you your offlaner a lot more XP while you're still accomplishing something.
Right.